And I have a pretty cool couple that I've kind of watched their love bloom on Facebook, and it's been kind of cool. Tracy Ray Ramsey and Keith Ramsey. Tracy Ray is a psychic, medium, empath. Oh my God, so many things. And Keith is the rocker from Deep South Paranormal, and I have been waiting to talk to you guys for quite a while now. Thanks for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, you bet. So it has been kind of cool watching you guys get together and fall in love, and you're a beautiful couple. I mean, I'm like, I don't know. I was like, congratulations to both of you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And happy belated birthday to you too, Tracy.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I had a great birthday. It was wonderful.
Yeah, I saw his videos. I have to say, those were quite the entertainment. I love all of them, actually. Popeye was like, I don't even know how you could not laugh through the whole entire last half of that thing. But it was amazing, and that just shows you he really loves you.
I never know what he's going to do. Never. I mean, he
Oh,
always...
well, that's the fun of it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I was reading a little bit about your bio, and I saw that you were born in Minden, which is where Dakota lives, and that was kind of cool. And I knew that y'all were friends and everything like that, so that was really
right.
And,
well, Dakota had just moved to Minden, which was kind of odd because me and Dakota was friends before he moved to Minden. And he's like, yeah, I'm fixing to move there. I'm like, really? Well, that's where I'm from. I was born and raised. And, yeah, it's kind of weird, but yeah, he's
things
good.
happen. For everything a reason.
Yeah, when I go back, I try and get together with him. Sometimes we can, and sometimes we can't. So
yeah, he's a busy little, you know
Yeah.
what,
Yeah.
diva. I love him so much, though. We're so tight. I was looking, and you became aware of your abilities at a very young age, and kind of tell us a little bit about those abilities, or how you became aware of it. Because when I was young, I used to have deja vu. So what were you kind of dealing with as a younger?
Well, the first thing that happened to me was when I was 6 and I saw my great grandfather, which I didn't know was my not my great grandfather, just my grandfather. I didn't know that's who he was because I had never met him before. He died 5 years before I was born. And he wanted me to give my mama a message to tell her that he's sorry that he got her to smoke. And, of course, I didn't understand the message, because I'm 6 years old. And I was playing with some encyclopedias, and a book fell, so I turned around and I put it back. And when I turned back around, he was gone. And so I went into the living room and I told my grandma, I said, some man named Jesse said he's sorry he got you to smoke. And she started to cry. And she goes, who told you that? I said, that man back there in the bedroom. She goes, there's not a man back there. I said, no, not anymore. So she finally told me that she was married to a man named Jesse, that he was my grandfather, and he died 5 years before I was born. And he was so sick, he got cancer of the esophagus, and it spread into his lungs. So he couldn't light his cigarettes. So she would light them, take the first drag, and hand it to him. And that's how she started smoking. And he hated that. He didn't want her smoking.
Right.
And nobody knew that story. So that's when I knew I could communicate and see, spirits. And then when I was 7, is when I really started communicating with my spirit guides. I had a female spirit guide that used to come to me in my closet. I had 2 walk-in closets, and she would tell me things, and I didn't know if they were true or not. She told me I had a sister, and I said, no, I didn't. I don't have a sister. She goes, yes, you did. She died for a reason. And I said, no, I didn't. I argued with her. She goes, you need to go ask your mother. So I went and asked my mom. And, of course, she was wanting to know where I'm finding out this information. And then she confirms that I did have a sister, that she did die at birth, and that she was born with no face. She had she just had slits. She had slits for eyes and 2 little holes and a slit for a mouth. And so that, I'm like, wow, this woman is really telling me things that's true, so I need to start listening. That's when I realized that, hey, we have gods. And then at 9 years old is when I really figured out I was an empath. When I was, we have a graveyard that's actually dedicated to, it's nothing but my family buried there. It was donated to my family. And so my mom let me go one time when I was 9 for the first time. And that's when I realized that I could feel how people died. And that's how it all got started. And then it just goes on from there.
Yeah, you kind of... when I first started having like deja vu when I was little, I just kind of blew it off and I didn't think much about it. And then I started having other things, like I had an imaginary friend who could have been my spirit guide because I just didn't really think about it like that. But I just was recently told I was an empath, so it's kind of all new to me. And I am totally getting so more open that I'm having such amazing experiences now. I've always been able to feel like my mom's sickness because she had lupus. I could feel when she didn't feel well. I could feel the tension between my parents when they fought, the whole thing. And I would just bury myself in music. And
who's Vicky?
Being an empath is like...
Do you know Vicky?
Vicky.
Do you know a Vicky?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. The name was just shouted out to me, and I just had to ask.
She's right here. That's my mom right there.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I lost her 10 years ago, so that's crazy.
She has passed then.
Yes.
Oh, my Lord. Okay.
That's crazy.
I'm sorry. It's just when things shout out at me, I have to ask.
Well, glad you did. That's her.
Keep going, because there other stuff will pop up, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, I was going to go and ask Keith, because I was reading his bio as well, and it seems as you also started having early experiences at like 5 years old. Can you tell us kind of what you were kind of experiencing that young?
Oh yeah, at 5 years old, I was dreaming these things of end of time prophecy. Come to find out later on in life, it started out with that. Real detailed, vivid dreams that I would wake up from. In these visions, I was always calm, and I didn't understand why. Like I said, the first time I was 5 years old, and all through the years, I would have the same vision, maybe a year apart, 2 years or 5 years would go past. I'd have it again, and it was always the same vision in different places. Wow. And when I come out of the door of the home, whatever home I'm in, I see all these things that I find out later is end of time prophecy. Like things are burning, there's fire falling from the sky, there's people running, scared to death, trying to escape, thinking they're going to get away from all of it. And from the very first time I had it, I felt comfort, and I'd raise my hands up in the air when I'd see the fire and just stand there and wait while I watched everybody else running frantic. At the age of 9, I'd moved into Tennessee, right up above the Alabama-Tennessee line, and in a new place with my father. And that's where I learned that I had a gift of sight. I started seeing things going on in the trailer, objects moving. I was seeing spirits a couple of times, 2 different times, occasions I seen clearly spirits. And one of them was actually moved the object. I seen it, and I seen it move the object.
Wow, that's cool.
After a few years after that, at the age of 13, I had an out-of-body experience where I was doing something I shouldn't have been doing, didn't know no better of doing, but something happened. Oxygen was cut off to my brain during this time, and I had a friend with me that witnessed it and said I didn't breathe or bat an eye for 4 to 5 minutes. It seemed like it. But when I went to my out-of-body experience was seemed like I was there much longer than that. It wasn't a pleasant place. I was just shown a place where souls can go after death, holding place, and I heard the voice of the devil speaking, and I heard the voice of God speaking that shaked me like the voice was like thunder speaking. And when he spoke, my soul just vibrated with his words. And before I was set back into my body, the last thing I was told is, he said, you're going back, you have another chance, you'll be one to tell the world this and me. So after that is when I went to my mother, because that really disturbed me, it was bothering me, and I was seeing more and more with sight. Once I went to her is when I found out she had similar visions, a lot similar visions, and she'd seen many other things through her life growing up. And she informed me it wasn't only me and her, but her mother before her had it. And not only on my mother's side, but she told me to go speak to my dad about his side of the family, because his mother had it and her mother before her. And my great-grandmother on my dad's side also had a gift of laying hands on people. She was a faith healer. So, which I finally got to see how that works at the age of 21. I went through a lot of depression. I went through battle with my first marriage. Just went into a deep, deep depression. And it was actually come to the point of being suicidal. And since what happened through this, I've never thought of it again, I can tell you that. At the time I was about to do what I was about to do, I asked God to forgive me for what I was about to do. Because I know it wasn't a good thing, but I was at the end of the road and just begging God to forgive me for what I thought was the only solution at the time. And that's when he sent a messenger, that's one of my guides, which is my dad's mother. This was 7 years after she had passed away. She came to me right at that moment and spoke to me. One of the two clearest spirits I've ever seen was my grandmother, and another case that happened further down the road. But she told me not to do what I was about to do, and begged me not to. Said, please, boy, don't do this to yourself. We're waiting on you. Everybody's waiting on you. And you still got things to do here. So that's when I throwed a gun to the side. I had a gun. And I went into my living room and laid on the couch for 3 days. I didn't drink anything. I didn't eat nothing. I just get up every now and then and go to the bathroom and pray and lay back down. But on this third day, I had a vision that I was in this field. There's a barbed wire fence as far as you could see in front of me. I looked over my shoulder and seen it as far as I could behind me. And the side of the fence I was standing on was all dirt and rock and just ugly, bare.
Yeah.
Right across the barbed wire fence, everything was perfect. Green, there's mountain in the background, like picture perfect. And I want to cross that fence to get to the other side. And when I go to do it, I hear the voice tell me, no, you're not ready. So at that time, I see this big, beautiful ball coming through the air like a huge, oversized beach ball, and it's like the wind's shifting it, blowing it, blows it over the fence. So I want to go over to that side again immediately. This beautiful ball is drawing my attention. It's like a marble, all these swirls and
like iridescent colors.
Yeah, beautiful ball. And as I want to cross the fence again, I hear the voice again say, "No, you're not ready. 1st and 2nd Corinthians, in blood you'll be happy." And I wake. So I start asking God at that point, why do you show me these things? And I can't understand what any of it means right off. But he says, get up. In my awake state, I hear the voice again say, get up and go see someone. So through the years before that, me and my mother had a connection where she would dream of things I was going through, people I was dealing with, and she would call me on the phone and say, watch out for so-and-so, watch out for this happening. She'd give me warnings, and she would nail it right on, down to people's names and what was going on with them. So as I'm sitting on this couch asking God, what's all this mean? Who am I supposed to get up and go see? There's no answer. As I sit there for a couple minutes, the phone rings, and it's my mother on the other end, knowing something's going on. She's feeling that I'm going through something, sickness. And I could barely walk because I've been on the couch for 3 days with no food, no drink. And I was dehydrated. All my joints were aching. I could barely walk. And I didn't tell my mother the full detail at the time, but she asked me why didn't I go to a doctor, and told me where to go to get into a clinic real quick. It was a walk-in. So I took her advice and went to this address, and as I walked in, the room's full of people waiting, been waiting all morning to get in and see a doctor. I go in, fill out paperwork, sit down, no more than 5 minutes. I'm the next person called. And they tell me to take my paperwork to the 2nd floor and give it to the nurse at the window up there. Well, again, room full of people waiting. I hand her my paperwork. She says, come on through this door to my right. And she doesn't check blood pressure, weigh me or nothing like they always do. Like they always have since, but she took me to a doctor's office and told me to sit in there. He'd be in with me in a few minutes. Well, just a few minutes later, he walks in the doorway, stands at the doorway, and we lock eyes. And as he walks over to me, he says, I don't want to know who you are. I don't want to know why you're here. Because I knew you was coming already. God showed me in a vision last night you'd be coming to see me today. So after 3 days of what I'd already been through, at that point I knew it wasn't over yet. He asked me, he said, do you believe Jesus Christ is your Savior? I said, yes, sir. And he asked if I'd bow my head with him so he could pray over me. I said, yes, sir. And as I did, as soon as his hands touched each of my knees, he leaned in on me and gripped my knees immediately as he started praying. I felt heat boiling in my feet, and it started crawling up my legs, went all the way through my body. And after his prayer, he says, I'm not just a doctor, but I'm a minister. And God showed me that you'd be here today. Now you get up off this table and walk out of here. Here's my card. If you ever need me again or need to talk to me or anything about anything, contact me, which I've just recently done a couple months ago, and that's been 17 years ago.
We're going to get it all on film. We're trying to document all of his experiences.
I'm going to interview people that's been there when certain experiences has happened, and people that I've had experiences with, that seen it all. But he laid hands on me, and it wiped out every pain. I walked in to that that clinic with, and even the weakness and everything, it's completely drained, exhausted. When I got up off the table, it was like walking on clouds, like I was bulletproof. Everything was gone, and that's when I went straight to one of our family members' gospel singing friends he had a group with. He was a preacher also. I went straight to his house to tell him what had happened and talk to him, and ended up going to his church that Sunday and was baptized in his church. But there's so many things I've witnessed and experienced in my life. There's no way I could tell you during this hour. Not even
so I'll have to have you guys back for part 2.
Yeah.
That's amazing because, my show started out as being a near-death experience type thing on another network, which we won't even discuss because I upgraded and came to Penn. But the deal is, that's so cool. I mean, not that you almost died, but your experience in which, how amazing is that you actually saw that you had a choice, and people were telling you, well, you think you have a choice, but you're not really done yet. And if that's not what you call a God thing, then I just am not going to believe in it at all. That's just crazy.
There's a lot of things that's happened in his life that when he was younger, that he didn't know, that had to do with the Bible, because he had never, he didn't go to church, he didn't read the Bible, and then come to find out later, they're actually stories in the Bible, which is pretty amazing. The visions he's had,
similar to people in the Bible spoke about the same visions way back. But I didn't get into reading the Bible till I was around 19 or 20. I started getting a little bit, and I fell away from it again. And then all this happened with my grandmother presenting herself to me to save my life. Is when I really started reading a little bit and studying and asking people questions. But yeah, there's first thing I got into reading once I did was Revelation. I went straight to it, and I read things in there that slapped me in the face. What I'd seen.
Dreams, pretty much.
Right, when it started at 5 years old. Yeah.
See, that's terrifying because, at 12 years old, I had a out-of-body type experience where I was my dad's best friend, and they were all like in this bass club thing where they went, they had a meeting every once a month, and they were all drinking and acting like they were 18 again, and they were racing, and I was like in the car with the guy, with his best friend in front of him. And then as he starts losing control of the truck, I like floated out and could watch what my dad saw. It was so strange. And I could see him fly out of the car. I could hear his neck crack. And I woke up just like terrified and pure sweat. I was freaked out so bad because it was so real. Right. And I woke up and went into the living room with my mother and was like, where the hell is my dad? Because I was afraid it was my dad. She said, well, there's been an accident. And I looked at her and I said, it's sunny and it's a car wreck. And she goes, yeah, we need to talk, because my mom had abilities too, because we have Blackfoot and Cherokee in our family.
Say that you are so open. There's so much going on with you. Like, you are just an open book. I'm just hearing chattering. There's a male figure too, and I don't know if he's your friend.
He might be my guardian angel, because when I asked my mom, I finally got in contact with my mom for just a brief little bit, and I said, I just want to know a couple of things. First off, I need to know that you're good. I need to know that first and foremost.
Good. Yeah.
She's perfect. Yeah, she's
good.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And so I said, now, are you my guardian angel? And she just flat out said no. And I go, well, that is not the answer that I was quite looking for. And she goes, you have a male guardian angel.
There's a male, and starts with the letter K. And I can't think, my audible's not, I don't know if it's Kevin, or my audible's not clear, but there's a male that is very, very attached to you that starts with the letter K.
Okay, could it possibly be Kenny?
Yes, it could. Yes, it could be Kenny. Yeah.
Okay, that was my best friend who passed away about 2 years ago in March.
I feel a distance, like y'all lived far apart. And when did he pass?
March.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Did he wear glasses?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. You're just like, I could sit here and read you yeah. We need to talk.
Awesome.
You're
awesome,
needs to read. I love that.
I've been waiting to actually hear from him. My aunt, after 10 years of waiting to hear from my mom, and I hadn't, and I didn't know why, she paid for me to go to this psychic, and I got more of the, you're an empath, you're wide open, your energy is like, wow, and, I didn't get a whole lot of what I needed from either one of them, except that he was concerned about my wife and wanted her to go to the doctor and have some stuff checked on. And so she did, because she's like, okay, cool.
With stomach area?
Stomach, and actually, he was worried about her having a stroke of some sort.
Okay.
From stress. So she went and checked it out, and all was good. So you can let Kenny know, or he probably already knows that she's good. But she did follow his advice. Yeah, I missed that guy.
He's a chatterbox.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
He hasn't come to talk to me, so he's probably got a lot to say.
See, that's one thing that I can't do is I can't communicate with my mom or my grandmother. I can't communicate with those that passed that was in my life. But I can if they passed before I was born. Like, my grandfather and my great-grandmother, all of those I can communicate with. But I haven't yet communicated with my mom. And I honestly think that God made it that way. Because if I could, I'd talk to her 24/7. And I would So I think that it's sometimes those that say they can communicate and they can read everybody, I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it.
No, because, it just depends. And that's what Dakota said, we're all psychic, but we all kind of work differently. It happens for us differently, and he can't actually explain how it works, and neither can Chip, because I'm friends with Chip Coffee. It just
Dakota gets something totally different than what I would get. But it would still be true, but it would be two different things, Yeah. And I feel there's certain psychic mediums that are supposed to read certain people, Right. Some of them can't, there's some that can't read you at all. But I think that there's an attachment for some reason. I don't know why, but there's that attachment where, God lets you let you have, that little bit of knowledge, that it is real,
Oh, I'm a definite believer, and the reason I say that is because Kenny had cancer, and I went to take care of him for the last month of his life, and that's when a life changer happened for me, because I had just started my team. And we had just gotten our T-shirts, and we were all excited, and we were like, woo, 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 And when I go up there to take care of him, it was like I'd been, having to do his medications and just everything in the world for him, because he had an eighth of a lung. And when I took him, he was upstairs, and I was downstairs, and I was on the phone, and the door opens, and I thought it was his cat coming to sleep with me, because he had 4 cats, and he was a cat. He was like the crazy cat.
Did you have a bird, too? I don't know why I'm picking up a bird, but I'm picking up a bird.
Maybe a long time ago, I think he might have. But I saw his doppelganger in my doorway. And I swore it was him standing there. And I was like, Kenny, are you okay? And he's like, it didn't say anything, of course. And I said, dude. And I thought he took too much of his morphine, and he had wandered downstairs. And I was worried about him going back up and busting his face open on the slate tile. So I yelled at him. I said, Kenny, are you okay? And his double just turned and walked away, and I jumped after it, and it was gone. And I went up and looked and saw that he had this double of him had his gray sweatshirt on and his gray sweatpants on and his gray hair. But it was just so methodical the way he, it just moved. He'd never been a creepy dude, like come and stare at me while I'm, never been like that. So I was like freaked out. But when I went and looked up there, he had no shirt on, and he had to sleep like this because in a Indian style on his couch because his lungs hurt him so bad. And he had no shirt on. And I'm like, there's no way the guy could have went from downstairs to up there in 2.7 seconds it took me to get off that bed. And he could tell, because I'd known him since I was 19, that it scared the shit out of me. I was like white and shaking, and my eyes were like this. And he's like, girl, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, did you not see that? And I made him promise me that he didn't see it, because he didn't. And I knew what that meant, and I'm like, oh my God. And I prayed, please don't let him die with me here by myself, because I will not be okay with that. And 2 days later, he took way too much morphine because we were going in the car, and I had to call 911, and he went in the hospital, and he never came back out. So, it just kind of bothered me seeing that.
He was ready. He was tired.
Oh, I know. I know. Yeah, he had already fought HIV, and and he was doing pretty good with that. And then like 3 years before he passed, I go, dude, that cough is not like a regular cough. You might want to go get that checked out. I mean, you're hacking up not just your regular smoker's cough. I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for that. And when the doctor said, when I was sitting there, you got 2 months to live, he was like, well, what can we do? Well, dude, 3 years ago, when I said to the doctor, we might have. And so the message I did get from him was that he did feel like I did everything I could, and it was he took the responsibility for his actions, and it wasn't anyone else's fault that he left us early, that he chose not to go to the doctor. So it's kind of on him, but I don't know. I just feel like
he was ready to go. He didn't want anybody else to suffer. I mean, any longer than what y'all had already. He was ready.
Yeah, and and I'm okay with that. I feel like he's in a better place
constantly.
Do what?
He's around you constantly.
Oh, I know. I feel him.
Hey.
I feel him. I put my Periscope out in the garage sometimes when I'm out there. I have a place that I call the Bud Palace, and I go out there and it's kind of my man cave. I go out there and I just kind of decompress and kind of meditate and just be quiet. Because being an empath,
right.
It's just overwhelming. I can't even go to Walmart without just be like, ugh, you know what I mean? Just 30 minutes and I'm spent. So what kind of advice do you give to me? Because the mirror reflecting outward thing does not work for me.
Well, the thing is I try and stay away from crowded areas myself. I mean, I limit. I know when I can go and when I can't go. If I'm just like today would not be a good day for me to go at all. Because I'm tired, we've been moving, and I would end up soaking in other people's energy and feeling things. Today would not be a good day. I use my stones, and that's the only thing that really protects me is my stones. I totally believe in them. There are some people that it don't work on. Sometimes you just have to find what works for you. Black onyx, black tourmaline is a good stone to have. So, cleanse it regularly, and say a prayer over it and tell it what you want it to do, and it'll do it.
That's greatness. So back to Keith, because I don't want him back there falling asleep or anything like that. Now that Syfy has once again done it to us and took away a killer show and is not going to obviously renew yet that we've heard of, when am I going to see you on TV again? I mean, what's up with that?
I have no idea.
They just said,
I'm ready anytime if somebody's got a show to squeeze me in there.
We have a lot of ideas. We do have that.
We got some original ideas.
oh, I do too, and I have locations as well. And I've been talking to Randy and Kevin and them, and let me just say this: I got to know something. How in the world you kept a straight face working with Hart on that show? Because that man is one cray man. He is so cool, but he is wild, man. I've never in my life. I laughed so hard at him.
Well, I have to look at it like this. When you're serious about something, and how these guys were when they investigated, they were serious. Mm-hmm. And when you put, when your heart's in it, all that laughter and stuff. Even though I'm sure they laughed a lot on set, and I mean, he's totally
with Hart and
Randy probably got beat the most. I think Randy said.
Yeah, we instantly all became a family, and ain't seen it no way different since. And it's just speaking of Hart, I wasn't able to keep a straight face. You didn't see that part. all of the stuff that went on with him, that was cut from the show would make a whole nother new show.
Yeah, he's wild. He is wild. We met the voodoo priestess of New Orleans at the actual Andrew Jackson event that I'd worked with Hart at. She actually blessed his gree stick in front of everybody. It was pretty amazing. I was like, should I be chanting this stuff? Or I don't know if I should be saying all this stuff she's saying it then. I might get some voodoo on my butt. I don't want it, you know what I mean? So I had to come home.
A lot of that going on in New Orleans.
Yeah, girl, if I wrote down everything I witnessed, saw, heard, or whatever, did while I was there, girl, I'd be in trouble. So I wanted to talk about your the event that you're fixing to come into next weekend in Ohio, the Mid-South. Can you tell us a little bit about what to expect at that event?
Well, we're not. We're hoping we can make it. We are in the process of moving. We just got a place, and we've been trying to move everything. We're still. It's still up in the air. I'll know more about it. I'll know more tomorrow. I'm hoping we can make it, but we're gonna have to figure a few things out. But it's an event we really, really want. It's kind of special to us because a year ago, that's I met Keith at Mid-South, and that's where we first met. So it's kind of like we're wanting to, but some things have came up, so we just kind of have to figure out some things. I mean, I've got my motel room and everything already and stuff like that, but some stuff has came up and we just don't know yet.
Hey, it happens. You know what I mean? Life happens. This week has been pretty good. Last week, after I got back from New Orleans, not so much. I had a pretty rough week. I lost one of my really good friends to breast cancer on Tuesday, and then I lost my cousin on July 4th to a rare bone cancer.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, this empath needs a time out. I had to meditate. I had my chakras cleared. That's the first time I've ever had that done. I guarantee you the two ladies that helped me out will never forget how my chakras were open so quickly when they were closed shut. We won't go into that, but let's just say it's the bottom couple chakras that were closed, and boom, all of a sudden they opened up. So, they were like, we laughed so hard, and I felt so much relief after that because, that's a lot of loss, and it's a real close. Right. But I moved into the place where, like I am with Kenny, I was depressed and sad. And he was worried about people missing him and forgetting about him. And I'm like, what the hell ever, dude? I think about you every day. Cut the crap. But, it's one thing to be sad for yourself, but I've moved into the place where I'm happy for them, that they don't have to suffer. They don't have to fight. They don't have to put chemo in their body, do radiation, whatever the hell, and medications, and feel like that, anymore. So just like with my mom, she was sick and all that. Now she's perfectly healthy, and she's running through the grass, and the sun's on her face, and the wind's in her hair, and she's good. So, you have to move into that place out of being selfish for yourself, because you're going to miss these people, to being happy that they're way better off than we are.
Now, do you have a son?
Yes, I do.
Was he 3 when he went? How old was he when she passed?
He was 2.5. He was almost 3.
Almost 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
you're good, girl.
Thank you. It's just numbers mean a lot to Keith and I, and it's 1, 3s, and 7s, and when they pop up, and we both know they mean something. It's either a warning or a message, but usually when I read people, they always come out too. So whenever I see 3 and I see your son, I see just a little boy. I didn't know if he had a son or not, but I figured he was almost 3. But she's around him a lot.
Okay, I think that he knows that. He does not forget his Grammy, and he'll be 13 Saturday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Come here, Logan. Come here.
Wow.
Yeah, she was the happiest Grammy ever in the world when I had him. Now, and I actually had him a couple years ago.
Because I feel like he's a seer.
He is. He's an empath as well. He can see stuff and feel stuff. Just come here real quick. I just want you to say.
I just want to see you.
Yeah, just wants to see you. Come here. That's him.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
That's Keith and Tracy. Can you say hi?
Hi.
So,
yeah, he's a crystal child, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Has he been told that?
He has, and he's real into stones and real into the all that stuff. He's got several of them. He actually won what are they called? A tuning? We don't need that. We don't need him in there. A tuning bowl. What is it? The bowls.
Oh, yeah, your bowls. Yeah.
Oh my God, he played with that thing in this house, and I go, "You sure you want to be doing all that in our house?" And he goes, "Oh yeah," and he loves it.
That helps you meditate. It helps you communicate. Yeah, that's a good thing to have.
Yeah, he's real into it, and he's actually a junior investigator on our team.
Wow.
And I took him to a cemetery, and it was strange because he talks. He's ADHD, so he's all the time bouncing everywhere. And when we got to the cemetery, he was fine, and then we go by this one plot, and he got real quiet, and I said, "Baby, are you okay?" And he's like, "I don't want to talk right now." And I'm like, "Who are you?" You don't want to talk? And he goes, "Yeah, my chest is hurting and my neck is tightening up." And I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah.
So
now, you've had more people. I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's you've had more people on your mom's side pass than your dad's side. Like there's like hardly nobody left on your mom's side.
Well, as far as the core
grandfather, grandmother,
I have one great aunt left on her dad's side. I have 160 some odd cousins on just her dad's side. That doesn't include her mom's side. And on my dad's side, there's hardly anybody. So my mom's side is real strong.
Yeah, they are. Yes, yeah. I mean it's huge. I mean the energy level is very high. Yeah, very. Yeah.
I appreciate everything that you're telling me because it makes me feel so good to know because I know that he was only 2.5, but he doesn't forget her. He always says when he sees butterflies, "Hi, Grammy." He's always knowing his Grammy's around.
She's showing me that she had short hair at the time, kind of wavy, curly. She was a little bigger. Yeah, round face. I'm just picturing her. She don't look like that. The way I'm seeing her right now, the way she's picturing me is the way she's wanting me to see her as he did when he was almost 3.
Right. She was actually, she had her hair about down to here.
Okay.
And it wasn't really wavy or anything like that, but it was just long. And she would sometimes just let it dry itself. So maybe that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
But when at the end she was in a wheelchair and we'd have to bring her up in the house and stuff. And then, she would just light up every time he would be around. I mean, she just loved him so much.
She loved him to death. She loved him.
Yeah. She has a lot of love. I mean, she has, that's what she did. When she walked in a room, it was like, you could feel it. It was warm, love, all that.
Beautiful. But, I mean, now she's showing me pictures of her. I'm seeing visions of her when she was young. Like, wow, she was beautiful. Like, totally beautiful.
Hang on, I'm trying to get this up here like that.
What?
That's one of her pictures.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she was gorgeous. There's no doubt about it. She was gorgeous.
Wow.
And she was that way inside and out. So it wasn't just the beauty on the outside. She's been missed by a lot of folks.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Well, so where, if not Mid-South, where can others see you and how can they get a hold of you guys?
Well, we will be at, August the 5th and the 7th, we'll be in Galveston, at the, Walk of Dead. I think it's the Walk of Dead.
Dash Beardsley?
Yeah. We'll be there. And then October the 24th through the 26th, we'll be at the Whispers from the Past at Root Villa.
Oh, wow, okay.
That's in Tennessee, the plantation there in Tennessee.
Oh, that ought to be nice.
Yeah, and in November, we're supposed to be, I don't know if we're going to be in Chicago or not. There's an event going to be going on there, but I don't know if I hadn't got confirmation on that one yet. And that's really all I have.
Well, cool. So y'all, of course, y'all go do these things together now, which is awesome. And I love that.
Yeah.
Been great.
It's when I met Keith, we, the weekend I met him at Mid-South, I didn't even speak to him. We got introduced and I didn't say hi. He didn't say hi to me. We just kind of locked eyes and we saw something in each other and felt this vibration and it's like everybody was gone. It was the weirdest, most amazing feeling in the world. We knew something happened that weekend and that was the first time that Keith ever spoke about his experience. And, I was on the panel at Mid-South, and he wasn't supposed to be, but Keith Age said, no, get Keith up there. So, of course, Keith got up there, and he started talking. And, it's like we give each other strength to be able to talk about things that we need to talk about. We've got a lot to tell the world. Keith especially, through his experiences, and I've learned a lot through Keith, so.
Well, I know that I congratulate you guys on your love because it's cool to watch. And it's nice to see the smiles on your faces are truly genuine and the love in your eyes is also that way. And it's cool to see. And I appreciate you guys being on my show. And thank you so much, Tracy, for the messages. I appreciate that so much.
Anytime,
and I will be talking to you again.
Yeah, when we get that connection, when I see you in person again, it'll be on.
Good deal. Sounds good. And you take it easy, Keith. All right.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Y'all
you.
have a great evening. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. I hope y'all enjoyed that. was something I was totally not expecting, which was cool, and I totally appreciate it. It really made my evening. We have a couple of events to announce, which is going to be the biggest one in August 30th in New Orleans at the Gemini Lounge, which was an old gay bar and was burned down, and 30 some odd men lost their lives there about 40 years ago. And Dakota Lawrence is going to do the most intimate, smallest gallery he's ever done of 15 people only. Got one at 3, got one at 5. It's $70, but I mean 15 people for an hour. So how amazing is that going to be, that you're more than likely going to hear a message from a loved one? So get your tickets now. 3 o'clock's wide open. 5 o'clock is filling up really, really fast. So get your tickets to that now. And then at the only thing really I have to announce right now is that we'll be at Phantom Fest September 26th and 27th, and I'm supposed to be helping with the investigations that night. So hopefully you'll get your tickets to Phantom Fest. I have Paranormal Palooza weekend getaways. I have one spot left for the August 15th and 16th trip to Missouri to stay in the John Wise Mansion and go to the Kendrick House on Friday night and the Galena Murder Bordello on Saturday night. So that should be awesome, and I have just one spot left for that. We have the Beckham Hotel, which is in Mineola, Texas. It's fixing to reopen. It's been remodeled. And on August 23rd, we have 4 spots available for $52 each. All these events are on Fear Paranormal Society's Facebook page. So check that out. And I want to thank our sponsors, which is, first one is Miss Hattie's Place in Belton, Texas. We're right now having $200 investigation specials for up to 8 people through October. Check us out on Facebook. The next one is Galena's Murder Bordello, which is in Galena, Kansas. It is so beautiful and so active. And wow, what a lot of serial killer history. They did a lot of stuff in that house. So that got to check that out. And last but not least, NOLA Ghost Hunting Tours in New Orleans. My friends down there, Kevin Betzer, Randy Hardy, he helps out every once in a while, and Chris Belançon. So you got to go down there and check it out, because they actually do an investigation, not just a walking tour with information. They actually investigate. So that will be something totally different for everybody. Check it out. All right. And next Sunday, I will have Jason Black from Tex Park Paranormal, and we're going to be talking about all things equipment. We're going to have some tech talk next week. I appreciate everybody joining me this week. It was an amazing show. Thank you again, Tracy and Keith Ramsey. And I will have to have them back. Everybody have a great week. Peace out.